What's up, everybody? Dark 1985. There's levels to this. Okay. It is 2024, late 2024, and I today have completed Redfall. I beat the game Redfall. Now, I know that Redfall is universally recognized as a bad game. If you look at Steam reviews, if you look at even reviews on Xbox, and even myself, you'll find old videos of me where I trashed Redfall. But let me tell you what I learned from actually playing Redfall and turning off the noise. So, Redfall is a game loosely based. I'm gonna tell you the story, so there's gonna be spoilers, but I doubt you're gonna play the game anyways. If you're watching this video, you have already played it, or most likely you're not even interested in play it. But here we go. If for whatever reason you are interested in play it, just go ahead and click off now, because I'm a spoil what the story is, or maybe you want to know what the story is. So Redfall is based around four different heroes that get stuck in this town called Redfall because the town gets taken over by vampires. Now, the reason the town got taken over by vampires is because there's a few doctors and scientists that found this girl that, for whatever reason, had something in her blood that can help cure illnesses and sickness and stuff like that. Now, they got kind of greedy with it and experimented too hard and made themselves invincible, but that was their actual goal. Their goal wasn't to actually cure diseases, their goal was to make themselves invincible. And they did. However, they did that by turning themselves into vampires. So once they did that, some of it spread and some people became vampires, and then a lot of people died because the vampires just started killing people. And then there's a group of people that decided to join forces with different types of vampires, so they would be part of like the Hollow Man's crew. That's like this one vampire faction. Then the Mr. Whispers, and that's another faction, right? And what you're trying to do is you're trying to, number one, get out of Redfall because that's not where you're from, and number two, you're trying to figure out if you could bring everything back to normal and maybe help everybody get out of there. But in the beginning of the game, it shows how you and the four heroes were actually trying to leave Redfall, even though all this stuff was happening. So your goal wasn't to just come in and be a hero anyways. It's just that you got stuck there and you were like, okay, let's do something about it. Now, when you understand that as a story, one of the critiques of the game is that the game is very empty and all this other stuff. Well, yeah, no duh. The game has been the world has been taken over by vampires, and you either join the vampires and make truce with them. And the way you make truce with them is you become a human that also hunts other humans and sacrifices them to the vampires, right? Or you're just a vampire out there killing people, or you're in hiding. So yes, there's not nearly anybody in the streets. When you're going through the streets of Redfall, what you're encountering are civilians that have been tied up and left there for sacrifice, or you're encountering people that have joined the vampires, and you can tell because they look like certain type of militia groups, or you're encountering actual vampires. That's pretty much it. That's everything that's in the entire game. And as you go through, you learn what the story is and all this other stuff. Okay, the story is not gonna win any awards or anything like that, but I will admit the story, once I really got into it, was intriguing enough that I was like, okay, let me see what happened. There's betrayal in the story. There's a brother and a sister that the sister kills the brother in the story. Like it gets pretty good, and you're seeing this stuff through sometimes is directly storytelling, and sometimes it's like a paranormal activity that you're seeing it, and whispers and like remembrance stuff that you're seeing it. So story wise, the game's actually not bad. I didn't think the game was bad at all. Now, when it comes to the gameplay of the game, I like first person shooters. So it's going to be really difficult for me to really not like a first person shooter unless you do one thing, and that's make me play the game at 30 frames. And that was, in my opinion, one of the biggest downfall for Redfall when it first came out, is that the first person shooter, came out running at 30 frames per second. And Microsoft and Xbox knew that was a mistake, because on their box, the Redfall box, it said 60 frames per second. They had to put a sticker to say that 60 frames was coming later, right? So it was like one of the biggest embarrassments that happened at the beginning of this generation when it comes to the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S. Now, if you were gaming on PC this whole time, then it really didn't matter. You were playing the game above 30 anyways, which is one of the major benefits of PC, is that you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I currently play the game on PC. Now that I got a PC that's I'm mainly gaming everything on it. Like I don't really turn on my consoles anymore, which I know is crazy for me to say because I loved console gaming, but PC gaming is just better. There's no other way to put around it. Regardless of all the nuances and everything, it just when you add everything up, it's just better. Regardless though, so I played the game. I was playing the game at 4K, medium settings because I usually pick medium settings. Like I can't really tell the difference between medium and high. And I was playing well above 60 frames, so the game was running smoothly, looked great. 4K with FSR on. Okay, I gotta put the caveat FSR on because people are gonna be like, you can't run games at 4K with your PC. It's a Walmart PC. You're right. I can't run games natively at 4K, but with FSR, which is beautiful upscaling, I like FSR. It ran great. So my experience with the game was really good. Now, as I played the game, the shooting of the game and everything like that, the enemies were repetitive. I will admit that, right? And the gunplay was not the best gunplay that I've ever had in a video game at all. But it was good enough. And it was good enough for me to continue going. And the skill tree of the game wasn't something that you needed to pay attention to. Like you could beat the game without leveling up any skill, which I loved, by the way. The other thing I loved about this game is the fact that you don't have to do any side missions. Like none. It's not like some of those games where they say this is a side mission or they say that these are side missions, but if you don't do these side missions, there's no way that you will level up enough to complete the main mission. You know what I mean? No, this game you can skip every single side mission, and I think I did one side mission by mistake. Everything else, I just went straight through the main mission, and today, like I said, I beat the game. So, what did I learn from playing Redfall in 2024? This is what I learned, okay? When you turn off the noise, meaning when you turn off the conversation about a game, because no one's talking about Redfall right now, right? And you just play the game for what it is, you will be surprised what you like and what you don't like, what you can enjoy and what you won't enjoy. Because regardless of whether you believe it or not, us human beings, we are influenced. Okay. And that doesn't mean that if everybody is saying that something is good, this is great, this is really good, this is great, this is really good, that once you try it, you're going to like it. Or the vice versa. If somebody says this is bad, this is really bad, this is bad, this is really bad, and you're trying like, oh, this actually is bad, it doesn't mean that that's going to work 100% of the time. But there is influence, and then there is something called confirmation bias. So when you try something and someone keeps telling you that is bad and they pinpoint why it's bad, like, oh, the world is empty, and you're playing the game and you're like, oh snap, the world is pretty empty. Yeah, this is bad because the world is empty, and somebody told you that the world is empty and that's what makes the game bad. But then when you realize what the premise of the game is, when you turn off that noise and you're just playing the game for what it is, then it makes sense why the world is empty. Then it makes sense why there's pockets of the world that have more people and more enemies and more things going on than others, right? Okay, they set the world as if most people have disappeared and died. They either turn into vampires or they've died, and a few people have joined factions. So that makes sense, okay? But playing the game without listening to any noise was refreshing to me. I played the game, I streamed the game on Twitch, and it was so funny how many people would hop into Twitch in my Twitch streams and be like, wow, you're really playing this game? Wow, I can't believe you're playing this game. Somebody even said, shout out to you, Purple. It was like, you're the only one I know that has played this game, or something like that. You're the only one I know that's still playing this game. I saw comments saying he's the only player right now on Steam playing this game and stuff like that, right? Which, I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. Probably wasn't true, but I thought it was pretty funny, right? But regardless, I played the game, I beat the game, I enjoyed the game. Now, would I recommend this game for you to play? I would, but I would recommend that you play it on Game Pass. You got nothing to lose. Play it on, not only just play it on Game Pass, pick a character and then turn off the noise. Don't stream it, don't do any of that. When you first play the game, just play the game yourself, okay? And understand, like, you can't avoid all the negative critique that the game has had and all that other stuff. You can't avoid it now, right? But just play the game and see how you feel about it, right? I am notorious, though, I'll be honest with you, for liking games that other people may not like. Because at the end of the day, to me, my opinion is what matters the most to me when I'm playing a video game. And that should make sense. Like, if you tell me that you like something and I play it and I don't like it, I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad game. I'm just saying that might not be a game for me. I played Redfall, finished it, right? Many people would argue, it's not even an argument, okay? People will say definitively that God of War Ragnarok is in a different level, especially compared to a game like Redfall. However, I played God of War Ragnarok and got bored of it and stopped playing it. I will never say that God of War Ragnarok is a bad game though, because when I did play God of War Ragnarok, I enjoyed it for a while until I just got tired of a little bit of repetitiveness, like in the grappling, that you're going to grapple certain walls, like just certain things that just took me out of the element. But I'll tell you this much. I am going to give God of War Ragnarok another shot, especially on my PC. Just to see, just to play it, I'll give it another shot. And sometimes you got to do that with games. Maybe you didn't like it the first time, you'll play it again, and next thing you know, you like it a little bit better, right? But what I learned is if you turn off the noise on a video game and you just play the video game for what it is, you might be surprised. I didn't like Forza Motorsport when the game came out, especially on the Xbox Series X. I thought the game looked mediocre. I'll be honest with you. When I played it on the PC a little bit later, then the game looked really good to me. And now I have a lot of hours in Forza Motorsport. If you go look at how many hours I got in Forza Motorsport, right? So, but again, with Forza Motorsport, what happened was when I started playing that game was around the time when the game came out, and there was a lot of noise around it saying that the game didn't look good, saying that the game was mediocre, saying that most of the games clearly they showed it running on PC versus running on Xbox Series X, and it did put a bad taste in my mouth, pause, because of what like I was seeing and what I was hearing. So when I actually played the game and I was like, oh no, they're right. This game does not look better than Forza Horizon 5. And I thought this game was going to destroy everything. Like, because Forza Horizon 5 looked amazing, but it didn't do that. Once I turned off the noise and I just played with it on my PC and I was able to adjust settings here and there, now I really like the game. And I have a lot of hours in Forza Motorsport. So, again, play a game, play it yourself, see if you like it, turn off the noise. For me, Crossfire X, the campaign, you remember that game? I don't know if you do or not. People hated that game. I enjoyed the campaign. I beat that game, okay? For me, Scorn, a lot of people didn't like Scorn. To me, Scorn is a masterpiece. A masterpiece. A lot of people didn't like that game. The Gunk, I like that game. Hi-Fi Rush, I like that game, but most people liked Hi-Fi Rush. Starfield to me is a masterpiece. Starfield to me is phenomenal. Especially it's the only game where New Game Plus to me actually makes sense and I want to play. Like I'm on New Game Plus 3 now, which I have never done in any game ever. And it's because of what they did with Starfield. And a lot of people don't like Starfield either, right? So turn off the noise, play the game yourself, see how you like it. And you might be pleasantly surprised. There's so many games out here for us to play, man. You don't have to follow the crowd and only play what the crowd is telling you to play. Try something out, especially if it's a genre that's your genre. See, that's the biggest key. If it's a genre that's your genre, you might have more tolerance for it than somebody else, which I can admit. For me, I like first-person shooters, so Redfall being a first-person shooter, I think does help it. And the fact that there were some enemies that were able to shoot back, I like that as well. I don't like zombie-centric type of games per se, except for Days Gone. That's another game that apparently Days Gone didn't get really good reviews when it dropped or whatever the case may be. And I thought Days Gone is a masterpiece. Days Gone to me is a masterpiece. Horizon Zero Dawn to me is a masterpiece, and a lot of people didn't like that. People thought it was a boring fest. Forbidden West was all right. I'm probably going to replay it again. I beat Forbidden West already, but I want to see how it runs on my PC, so I'll play it again. But that's probably all of it there, okay? I'm going to leave you guys with that. Play the game, turn off the what's it called? All the noise, and go from there. Dog 1985, there's levels to this. We out. Peace.